Welcome, dear listener, to a quiet journey, a gentle exploration into the heart of one of nature's most intriguing and often misunderstood stories. Tonight, as the world outside begins to quieten, and your own thoughts begin to soften, we will drift together into the vast, whispering expanse of the Florida Everglades, a place of profound beauty and subtle changes. Imagine, if you will, a landscape stretching out under a vast sky, where water meets land in a timeless dance, and ancient cypress trees stand like silent sentinels, their roots reaching deep into the cool, dark earth. It is within this serene setting that a remarkable tale unfolds, a story not of loud drama, but of quiet persistence, of creatures adapting, and of an ecosystem gently, almost imperceptibly, shifting. Our narrative tonight centers around a creature of great power and mysterious grace, the Burmese python. Let your mind relax, allow your breath to deepen, and simply listen as we unwind this quiet saga, a story designed to lead you gently towards a peaceful and restful sleep. The Everglades, a true wonder of the natural world, is a tapestry woven from water, sawgrass, and ancient forests. It is a sanctuary for countless species, a delicate balance sustained over millennia, yet sometimes a subtle, almost unnoticed opening can appear in this natural fabric, allowing something new to enter, something that can, over time, begin to reshape the very threads of this intricate tapestry. And what escapes, as our story will softly reveal, is not a sudden violent eruption, but rather a gradual, pervasive presence that slowly, quietly begins to rewrite the narrative of an entire ecosystem. This is the profound and unfolding story currently whispering through the vastness of the Florida Everglades, where just a handful of Burmese pythons, animals once cherished as pets and released into the wild decades ago, in the quiet years of the 1980s and 1990s, have now almost silently multiplied into an expansive population, estimated to be in the hundreds of thousands. Florida, with its warm, welcoming climate and abundant waterways, has seen many species of reptiles gently introduced to its shores over the years, some finding their niche, others fading away without much impact. But none, truly none, have woven themselves into the fabric of this land quite like the Burmese python has. It isn't merely their numbers, which are indeed vast and ever-growing, that draw our attention in this quiet unfolding. It is the subtle, pervasive transformation that they bring about. Since these magnificent creatures began to establish their presence, settling into the warm, humid embrace of the Everglades, there has been a noticeable, almost complete, disappearance of small and medium-sized mammals across wide, sprawling areas of this unique wilderness. For these native animals whose lives were once filled with the rhythm of the Everglades, a quiet, almost imperceptible shift has occurred, a new chapter written in the form of a giant snake's gentle, yet unending, appetite. For years these pythons found sanctuary in the dense, sheltering vegetation, reproducing and spreading their presence almost entirely unnoticed, hidden beneath the canopy and within the quiet waterways. But now a quiet awareness has settled upon us, and now there are dedicated individuals, their hearts filled with a gentle resolve, who are attempting to understand and address this profound shift. Imagine a moment, late in the day, or perhaps in the soft hush of twilight, a hunter, moving with patient steps through the sawgrass. She might catch just a glimpse, a tiny sliver of a unique pattern, a subtle glimmer of scales through the tall blades. Following this trace with a quiet, focused determination, she moves forward, step by gentle step, until her eyes settle upon a form, a shape that grows larger and larger, until it culminates in the biggest head she has ever quietly observed. And in that moment, she might simply embrace the challenge, a soft murmur escaping her lips. "Oh my goodness, what am I doing? Perhaps I am simply embracing the wildness of this place." Python hunters, these quiet observers of the swamp, venture out day after day, and sometimes under the soft glow of the moon, with a singular dedicated mission to find and gently, respectfully, dispatch as many pythons as humanly possible. It is a task that demands deep patience and a profound understanding of this challenging environment. But the question that arises, like a ripple on still water, is whether this quiet method of careful removal can ever be enough to truly address the presence of this remarkable, yet invasive, species. And what is it about the very nature, the inherent biology of this snake, that allows it to thrive so successfully in Florida's welcoming landscape, to become such a pervasive force? How did it arrive here, in this distant land, and why has it become such an unstoppable, quiet presence, weaving itself so deeply into the fabric of this ecosystem? Let us now turn our attention to the Burmese python itself, a creature of truly remarkable scale and quiet power. It stands among the largest snake species in the entire world, a testament to nature's grand design. Its native lands are the warm, humid reaches of Southeast Asia and the southern parts of China, where these magnificent snakes find solace in a variety of environments. The lush, tropical forests, the quiet, meandering marshes, the fertile river valleys, the expansive grasslands, and the deep, mysterious swamps. They often prefer to stay close to water sources, their thick, powerful bodies gliding effortlessly through the currents or resting quietly along the banks. Burmese pythons are known not only for their impressive size, but also for an unbelievable raw power, a quiet strength that emanates from their very being. Adult pythons typically unfurl to lengths between 12 and 16 feet, or about 3.6 to 4.9 meters, a truly substantial presence. Some rare individuals, however, are known to stretch even further, gracefully exceeding 18 feet, or more than 5.5 meters. They usually carry a gentle weight of between 100 and 200 pounds, or 45 to 90 kilograms, with the adult females often being noticeably heavier, embodying a quiet strength. Their bodies are thick, muscular, and perfectly designed for the art of constriction, a method of gentle yet firm embrace. Often they will lie in a quiet, patient wait, perfectly camouflaged by the dappled light and shadow of the vegetation, or submerged almost entirely within the calm, inviting waters, their presence a silent secret, until an unsuspecting animal draws near. Then, with a movement that is less of a sudden strike and more of a fluid, swift unfolding, it launches its muscular body forward, securing its gentle grip upon the prey with its backward curving teeth. Pythons are not venomous. They do not possess the classic piercing fangs that you might associate with some other snakes. Instead, their teeth, numbering approximately 100, are incredibly sharp and arranged in a meticulous pattern, 2 rows along the upper jaw and 1 row along the lower. Once a firm, gentle hold is established, the python swiftly coils its powerful body around the animal, tightening its embrace ever so slightly each time the prey creature exhales, a quiet rhythm of life and cessation. This profound process, known as constriction, is not about crushing bones, nor is it about suffocation in the traditional sense. It is in its essence about gently but firmly stopping the flow of blood to the brain, a quiet cessation of vital function. After the prey has succumbed to this silent embrace, the snake begins the slow, deliberate process of swallowing the animal whole, always head first, a testament to its patience and digestive prowess. You may have heard in hushed whispers or through common anecdotes that these snakes unhinge their jaw to accomplish such a feat. However, that isn't quite the precise mechanics of how it truly works. Their jaw is in fact an intricate marvel of nature's engineering, composed of 4 distinct movable parts, all elegantly connected by a network of flexible ligaments. These remarkably stretchy ligaments are the key, allowing the four parts of the jaw to move and spread apart independently, with an astonishing degree of flexibility. The lower two jaw parts in particular can swing open to an impressive angle of over 120 degrees, creating a wide, welcoming passage for their sustenance. For a considerable time, scientists in their quiet observations believed that Burmese pythons could open their mouths to a staggering diameter of 22 centimeters, or about 8.6 inches. But in a recent gentle revelation they discovered that the maximum gape diameter of these creatures is actually even more expansive, closer to 26 centimeters, or about 10.2 inches. This quiet realization dawned upon scientists when they made a truly remarkable discovery right here in Florida. A Burmese python was found in the process of consuming a full-sized white-tailed deer, an animal larger than any prey they had previously observed, being swallowed by these snakes. This poignant discovery served as another gentle warning sign, a subtle underscore of the profound threat that these Burmese pythons represent in the delicate Florida ecosystem. Indeed, there are very few native animals in this vast landscape that possess the sheer size to feel entirely safe from the python's gentle yet firm embrace. Pythons have even been quietly observed consuming alligators, a truly astounding feat of nature. However, sometimes even these magnificent predators can, in their natural instincts, miscalculate the dimensions of their meal, and in rare instances, a truly unfortunate outcome can occur. In 2005, officials within the tranquil expanse of the Everglades Park made a somber discovery. They found a 13-foot-long Burmese python that had embarked upon the ambitious task of attempting to swallow a 6-foot alligator. In a profound and rare twist of nature, the python had, in essence, ruptured, and both magnificent animals had succumbed. It is a vivid, albeit rare, reminder of the delicate line that nature sometimes treads. But, if the python successfully navigates this intricate balance, and does not rupture, the prey begins its slow, quiet journey of digestion, a process that can span over days or even weeks. During this profound digestive period, the python, in a natural state of deep contentment and satiety, becomes largely inactive, resting quietly, conserving its energy, a silent testament to the immense meal it has consumed. An apex predator capable of consuming creatures as large as deer, and even alligators, is certainly not an animal one would personally choose to invite into their home as a pet. Yet, remarkably, some individuals genuinely do. Compared to some of the other constrictors found across the globe, Burmese pythons are known for possessing a notably mild temperament. They are generally not overtly aggressive creatures. They tend to move with a slow, deliberate grace, and appear to be relatively at ease with gentle handling. And it is this very characteristic, this perceived docility, that quietly led to the profound ecological challenge now unfolding in the Everglades. The origin of this pervasive presence, you see, is almost entirely rooted in the pet industry, a gentle consequence of human choices. However you choose to view it, whatever theory you might lean towards, the consensus is clear. It began with the pet industry. Amy Siwi, a dedicated and experienced professional python hunter and guide in Florida, shares this perspective. She began her career as a state-contracted python hunter, diligently working within the official programs, and now, with her own quiet determination, she operates her own python hunting guide business, a testament to her profound connection to this environment. Some voices suggest that the problem arose because individuals faced with the growing size and increasing needs of their pet pythons simply chose to release them. And it is undeniable that people with a mixture of good intentions and perhaps a lack of foresight have indeed released their pets into the wild. When these pythons grew to be too large to comfortably house, too demanding to feed, or simply too imposing to handle within a domestic setting. Some individuals, with a quiet and perhaps misguided sense of benevolence, thought, "Oh, let us set them free in the vastness of the Everglades, where they can live a long, healthy, and happy life." However, the reason we now confront such an epic and pervasive challenge, a problem of truly monumental scale, lies in another, more significant event. There was a breeding facility, quietly situated in Miami, that suffered catastrophic damage during the powerful embrace of Hurricane Andrew in 1992. Hurricane Andrew, which swept across the landscape in August of 1992, was, in its sheer force and devastating impact, one of the most formidable hurricanes in the history of the United States, leaving an indelible mark, particularly upon the southern reaches of Florida. It made landfall with the terrifying might of a Category 5 hurricane, its sustained winds roaring at an astonishing 165 miles per hour, or 266 kilometers per hour. The destruction it wrought was truly catastrophic, a force of nature reshaping the landscape. A staggering 63,000 homes were tragically destroyed, and 65 lives were lost in its wake. And in its quiet, unintentional chaos, this immense storm also set free approximately 900 baby pythons into the general vicinity of the Everglades, a subtle yet profound sowing of seeds for the future. But how, you might gently wonder, could a mere 900 young snakes quietly transform into an estimated 500,000 in just a few short decades? This remarkable multiplication, this quiet expansion, can be understood by examining a few key factors, a subtle recipe, if you will, for such an astounding natural unfolding. The first critical ingredient in this recipe towards an expansive presence is the truly remarkable reproductive capacity of female Burmese pythons. These magnificent females possess the ability to lay a significant number of eggs in a single clutch. While the average is often stated to be around 35 eggs per clutch, a cycle they undertake approximately once per year, the larger, more robust females are capable of laying a far greater number, sometimes reaching up to 100 eggs in a single nest. The record, a testament to their prolific nature, stands at an astonishing 122 eggs. To truly appreciate this capacity, let us consider a comparison. The Everglades' largest native snake, the graceful eastern indigo snake, which can grow to be a respectable 5 to 7 feet, or 1.5 to 2.1 meters long, lays only 4 to 12 eggs per clutch, also once per year. The difference, when gently considered, is profoundly stark. And unlike many other reptiles, where the eggs are often left to their own devices, female pythons exhibit a remarkable maternal instinct. They diligently guard their eggs, coiling their powerful bodies around them, offering warmth and protection. This devoted guardianship significantly increases the hatching success rate, ensuring that a greater number of their offspring emerge into the world. So even if only a fraction of these robust female pythons successfully reproduce, the quiet mathematics of nature suggest that it would take only a few generations for a population of a few hundred to blossom into many hundreds of thousands. And adding to this unfolding story, when Burmese pythons hatch, they are already remarkably substantial. They emerge from their eggs at over 2 feet, or half a meter, in length, a size comparable to many adult native snakes already present in Florida. While it is true that some native Everglades predators can and do prey upon these young pythons, and many undoubtedly fall victim to the natural cycle of life, it is clear that not enough of them are being consumed to significantly curtail their numbers. And these robust young hatchlings, even at their considerable initial size, require a significant amount of sustenance, consuming many creatures to reach their enormous final dimensions. It takes a python, with its steady growth, just 3 short years to attain a length of 10 feet, or 3 meters. And to reach this impressive size, it requires the consumption of hundreds of other animals, a testament to its pervasive presence within the food web. This naturally leads us to the second crucial factor in this quiet recipe for their remarkable success. Pythons can and do, with their expansive appetites, consume basically everything that is available to them. Their diet is incredibly broad, encompassing nearly every small to medium-sized animal that inhabits the Everglades. The impact of their presence is so profound, so devastatingly effective, that it can be difficult to fully comprehend the quiet transformation it brings about. A significant study conducted in 2012 quietly revealed some truly stark figures. It showed a staggering 99.3% decline in raccoon populations, a gentle disappearance of these common creatures. Opossum populations saw a decline of 98.9%, their numbers dwindling almost to nothing. Bobcats, those elusive and graceful native predators, experienced an 87.5% decline. Another study, further painting this picture, reported a 94.1% decline in white-tailed deer, and a complete 100% decline in both rabbits and foxes across certain areas. The quiet melodies of the Everglades birds are not safe either, it seems. Birds now constitute approximately 25% of the python's diet in the Everglades, a notable shift in their eating habits. Researchers have, with quiet diligence, found evidence of over 58 different bird species within python digestive tracts, ranging from the smallest wrens to the grandest herons, including even many of their eggs. And while, as we gently noted earlier, a 6-foot alligator once proved too much for a python, leading to a tragic end for both, a 5-foot alligator was, in a more successful encounter, found fully consumed within a python's stomach. The research delving into the impact of pythons on the reptile and amphibian populations of the Everglades is still ongoing, still slowly unfolding its secrets, but one can, with a quiet certainty, surmise that the numbers, when finally revealed, will likely not paint a comforting picture. Unfortunately, these pythons possess truly voracious appetites, quietly consuming everything that crosses their path, and the profound decline observed in the mammal and now bird populations is, without doubt, truly devastating for the native ecosystem. All of this, when contemplated quietly, does lead one to ponder what is so profoundly different about Florida compared to their native range, that allows these pythons to be so incredibly destructive, so pervasive in their impact. Pythons in their native habitats across Southeast Asia do not, for example, cause a 90% decline in the populations of their prey animals. The answer to this quiet question reveals the third significant factor in this recipe for their success in Florida. Native Florida animals simply do not possess an evolved natural instinct to be afraid of these giant, powerful snakes. They have not, through generations of natural selection, learned to recognize the Burmese python as a threat, whereas the prey animals in the python's native range, those ancient lands, have indeed evolved alongside this magnificent snake. They have, over countless millennia, learned to be keenly alert, to sense the presence of this sneaky, massive python, developing natural behaviors of avoidance and caution. This fundamental difference in historical coexistence profoundly shapes the interactions between predator and prey. And the fourth quiet ingredient in this recipe, towards the total python devastation we observe, is that, in Florida, adult pythons have virtually no significant natural predators to keep their numbers in check. Let us consider for a moment the natural balance that exists in Asia. What are those formidable predators that traditionally help to keep python populations in a natural equilibrium? Big cats, for one, such as the majestic tigers and the stealthy leopards, are known to prey on young or smaller pythons, playing a vital role in their native ecosystems. Florida panthers, those rare and beautiful native big cats, might, in a quiet encounter, eat some of the smaller pythons too. However, they are simply not capable of overpowering and consuming the very largest individuals. And sadly, there are only about 200 panthers left within the vastness of the Everglades, a precious few that simply cannot undertake the heavy lifting required to control such an expansive python population. Crocodiles are another formidable animal that preys upon pythons in their native range. These ancient reptiles can easily overpower the pythons in the water, their domain of quiet strength. In Florida, alligators, the resident apex predators of the waterways, do indeed eat pythons, but only the largest, most formidable alligators typically succeed in these titanic encounters. It is in fact a rather amazing, quiet back-and-forth battle that sometimes unfolds between these two powerful species. But again, there are simply not enough massive alligators to fully contain and significantly reduce the pervasive presence of the pythons. And finally, in the ancient lands of Asia, there are the king cobras. These truly remarkable snakes are the largest venomous snakes in the world, capable of reaching lengths of 18 feet, or 5.5 meters. Their diet, fascinatingly, is primarily composed of other snakes. They stand as the main predators of both Burmese and reticulated pythons in Asia, playing an incredibly crucial role in gently controlling their numbers and thus maintaining a balanced, harmonious ecosystem. There is, quite simply, nothing akin to this quiet force of nature in Florida. A thought might gently arise: should we consider introducing the king cobra? Should we go full cane toad, as the saying goes, and introduce yet another non-native species in an attempt to control the pythons? The quiet consensus, born from historical lessons and a deep respect for natural order, is a resounding no. Few, if any, would genuinely wish to invite another unpredictable variable into this delicate equation. So without these formidable natural predators in Florida, nothing, it seems, is truly keeping the pythons in check, allowing them to quietly expand their presence. However, there is one more predator, a unique and pervasive force that we must quietly consider in this unfolding narrative. So the fundamental challenge, the quiet conundrum, lies in determining the most effective way not only to locate these elusive creatures, but also to safely and humanely capture them. Finding them, without a doubt, remains the biggest issue. This environment, the sprawling, intricate Everglades, is so perfectly conducive to their nature for so many profound reasons. Yet, they are also masters of camouflage, their patterns blending seamlessly with the dappled light and shadow of their surroundings. Amy gently explains, "We were already beyond the point of being able to control this problem before we even truly understood it was a problem, simply because you just don't see them." She continues, with a quiet confidence, "I am an experienced python hunter. I can often pick them out, even when they are subtly hidden within the grass or beneath the dense foliage. But the challenge is that so many places become utterly inaccessible during the long, humid summer months. We are often restricted to the quiet stretches of the roads. If you simply venture out into the swamp and begin walking aimlessly, you are, quite frankly, never going to find a python. They spend a remarkable 85% of their time remaining perfectly still, almost motionless. So we must wait for them to be in motion, to be on the move. That is why we patiently patrol the roads, waiting for them to quietly transition from the deep woods and the submerged swamps into the calm, flowing canals. These canals, you see, often run parallel to the main roads, creating a subtle corridor for their movement. And so we tend to encounter them when they are in the process of crossing these roads. It is all about being in the right place, at the right moment, patiently waiting for these magnificent snakes to quietly emerge. A python could be deeply buried, perhaps slumbering peacefully beneath a pile of debris right beside the road. It might emerge tonight, or perhaps in 2 weeks, or even a mere 30 seconds after a vehicle has passed. The sheer unpredictability of their movements, their elusive nature, is the core of the challenge. They are simply so profoundly difficult to find. So then, once you do, with a stroke of quiet fortune, spot one, what gentle steps follow? Amy describes the quiet urgency. Well, we tend to softly exclaim python, and then carefully yet swiftly exit the truck. The method of capture involves gently securing them behind the head, very close to their jaws. If the python is smaller, it's generally a relatively easy process. However, if the python is larger, it can indeed become quite a battle, a quiet struggle of strength and patience. And then, after capture, the difficult yet necessary step of dispatch must occur. We do have to euthanize them. Amy confirms with a quiet solemnity. It is, undoubtedly, one of those tasks that feels far from pleasant, but is recognized as a necessary action in this profound ecological predicament. Amy admits, with a deep sense of quiet honesty, "Oh, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I wish there was another way. If there were another humane alternative, I would wholeheartedly pursue it. But unfortunately, we have reached this point, and we truly do not have a choice." When considering the personal risk to the hunter, the question arises, is the greater danger more about being bitten, or more about being wrapped up in the python's powerful coils? Amy calmly explains, the biggest risk is probably getting bitten. Even though these snakes are not venomous, their mouths are filled with those approximately 100 razor-sharp teeth. The reassuring news, however, is that humans are not on the python's menu. They do not want to eat people, she assures. When a python strikes at a human, it is a purely defensive action, a primal instinct to protect itself. They are not biting with the intent to wrap and constrict. If I find myself in a situation where I've got a python, and it's wrapping around me, and I'm feeling uncomfortable, all I have to do is simply let go. The python will then unravel its coils and quietly make its escape. Amy explains, highlighting the nuanced understanding required when interacting with these powerful creatures. The quiet thrill of the chase, the profound encounter with these magnificent animals, often leads to memorable experiences. When asked about the largest python she has ever quietly captured, and assuming that they meticulously record and measure each one, Amy responds, "Oh yes, absolutely. The biggest one measured 17 feet and weighed a remarkable 110 pounds. And what makes that particular capture so profound is that I actually caught her entirely by myself." She recounts the quiet intensity of that moment. "I pull my truck over. I see this thing subtly periscoping. That's when they gently raise up a little bit off the ground, and you can just glimpse their lighter underside, their white belly. So I see it. I pull the truck over. In the meantime it dips back down. This whole process takes me perhaps 30 seconds. I calmly grab my bag. I grab my GoPro camera. I make my way over to where I saw it. This thing I knew was immense, at least 17 feet long. I knew precisely where it was, and yet I still could not find it for what felt like 2 long, quiet minutes. That's how incredibly camouflaged they are. And this was right beside the highway, mind you," she continues, describing the quiet persistence required. "And so finally I caught sight of just a tiny, tiny bit of its intricate pattern through the dense grass. I gently followed that subtle clue up a couple of feet, until my eyes met the biggest head I had ever quietly observed. At that moment, a soft murmur escaped me, a quiet disbelief. I was like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? I think I'm simply embracing the wildness of this experience." She describes her small, modest head bag, and the internal question, what am I doing? But with these animals, she emphasizes, you cannot hesitate. "So I've got her," she continues, painting a vivid picture of the quiet struggle. "I'm kind of straddling her, and she's attempting to quietly shimmy back between my legs to make her way back into the sanctuary of the swamp. So I'm using my lower legs, I'm squatting, using all of my strength, every ounce of quiet determination, to prevent this python from retreating behind me, because if she gets back there, it's over. All the while, I'm also trying to carefully, gently maneuver this headbag over her head. Before this monumental encounter, Amy had, through quiet observation and experience, discovered a crucial technique. Placing a bag over the python's head almost completely subdues them, transforming their immense power into a surprising stillness. This quiet insight would prove absolutely critical to what she was about to accomplish. And so, as soon as I managed to get the headbag completely over her, she simply stopped. And I thought, oh thank goodness, because I was genuinely reaching the point where it was going to become a question of who could outlast whom. It wasn't a wild wrestling match or anything dramatic. It was a profound battle of quiet strength and endurance. That was truly a crazy moment. This single experience, Amy reflects, quietly reveals so much. It highlights how exquisitely camouflaged these creatures are, how profoundly difficult it is to truly find them, let alone capture them. I had a lot of subtle advantages going my way that day. If I hadn't had that headbag, there's simply no way I would have been able to secure that snake. I cannot, nor can most people, outmuscle a 17-foot python, not even the strongest individuals. It becomes a matter of gently wearing them out, but also employing these quiet tricks, these subtle techniques that can assist you so you don't have to reluctantly let the python go. Because everyone you see has their own one that got away story. The question then arises, in the quiet consideration of this ongoing effort, just how many dedicated python hunters are truly out there, navigating the vastness of the Everglades. Amy explains that through the state-sponsored python programs, there are currently around 100 contracted hunters. She notes that the state is not likely to hire significantly more than that, primarily due to issues of access. There just aren't enough roads, essentially, to comfortably accommodate more people, she says. Which brings us to another story, the Python Challenge, which is actually happening tonight. Beyond the state-contracted hunters, there are probably about 30 other individuals, like Amy, who are not necessarily guides, but who venture out on a regular basis, driven by their own quiet dedication, not officially part of the state program. Amy herself is not part of the state program anymore because, as a top hunter for the state of Florida, she was earning less than $20,000 a year and simply needed to make a living. So she started her guiding business, a quiet entrepreneurship born of necessity. The state, however, informed her that she couldn't do both. So that accounts for about 30 other individuals who go out for the sheer joy and purpose of the hunt. But then a new phenomenon has quietly emerged. Python hunting has become increasingly popular, gaining visibility on television and across social media platforms. Sometimes, the activity is portrayed as deceptively easy, because those who have been doing it for a long time, like Amy, have already made all the mistakes and have, through quiet perseverance, learned the most effective ways. So we now have so many people out there who genuinely believe they can hunt pythons, and it can, unfortunately, become a bit of a disaster. Amy observes with a quiet sigh. One can only imagine the complexities and potential missteps that can arise. Amy then gently elaborates on the Python Challenge, a significant event in the python removal effort. The Python Challenge is an event organized by the state. It's a 10-day competition, and it offers considerable prizes, sometimes worth as much as $30,000. So it attracts participants from all over, even from other countries. To participate, one must pay a modest registration fee of $25 and complete a brief online course through the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, FWC. Then for 10 days, approximately 1,500 people are out there, all concentrated in an area that ideally should only accommodate about 50. So it can become quite overwhelming. she explains, painting a picture of bustling activity in normally tranquil spaces. The challenge presents a few subtle problems. Firstly, with so much human presence and traffic, the pythons deviate from their normal behavioral patterns. If they would normally be quietly coming up to the road, they simply won't do that anymore. Amy notes. She shares a telling anecdote. 2 years ago, I participated in the challenge. In the 2 weeks leading up to the competition, I caught 31 pythons. During the 10 days of the challenge itself, I caught only 3. They simply do not come out. But there's an even more profound concern. Snake identification is not an easy skill. One can study images on a screen or in a book, and it seems simple enough to distinguish between species, especially when they are side by side. But when you're out in the field, in the deep dark of night, and you're trying to recall what is what, especially when you don't encounter these snakes very often, it becomes incredibly difficult. Amy emphasizes, and there are so many people who travel from outside of Florida who are not familiar with our native snakes to begin with. They might know their own native snakes, but not ours. And the baby pythons, as we gently discussed, emerge from their eggs at about 2 feet long, and they are all hatching out at a particular time. So we encounter people who mistakenly kill water snakes, and cottonmouths, and corn snakes, and all of these wonderful native snakes that are an integral part of our ecosystem, simply because they believe they are pythons and cannot discern the difference. Amy laments, highlighting the truly tragic consequence of misidentification. It is indeed a heartbreaking angle, a quiet tragedy that adds another layer of complexity to this already challenging situation. So the quiet question emerges: what more could the state gently do to support the truly qualified python hunters, individuals like Amy, who possess a deep understanding and invaluable experience? Amy suggests, first and foremost, simply paying them more. I think taking that out of the equation, I think that goes without saying no matter what you're talking about, she quietly states. But beyond that, she proposes a more strategic approach. I think the most effective thing, since we are the most effective thing, and yet we're still not incredibly effective, 1 python every 12 hours, remember, would be to implement specific territories for people to hunt each night. These territories could be rotated, allowing different hunters to explore different areas, ensuring a more even coverage. The current problem is that there's this entire vast area, and people can simply go out and hunt wherever they desire. So you might have a concentration of people over here, and absolutely no one over here. So no one is catching anything in that unoccupied zone. And we might then conclude, oh, so it was this temperature, this humidity, and nobody's catching anything. Okay, well maybe the pythons were indeed moving, but no one was present in that specific area to observe them when they were moving on that side. You see? There is, she explains, a great deal that could be gained from a more organized strategic approach. I think we could gather a lot more accurate data regarding their behavior and their movement patterns if we could hunt strategically, rather than just in a willy-nilly fashion, whenever one can. This thoughtful suggestion makes a great deal of quiet sense, like organizing the threads of a complex tapestry to create a clearer pattern. Changes such as this, however subtle, could indeed make a significant difference in the ongoing quiet effort against these invasive snakes. But with all the captivating stories of python captures, and all the dedicated individuals quietly spending countless hours working towards python removal, a profound question whispers through the air: is it even truly helping? Amy, with her characteristic honesty and quiet wisdom, addresses this directly. No, she states softly, I mean in some very localized areas. Yes, probably there's been some impact. But let me share some figures with you. She then lays out the quiet, sobering reality. These programs dedicated to python removal officially began in 2017. Since then, collectively, and being quite generous with our estimates, Approximately 27,000 pythons have been caught. That's over a span of 8 years. There are an estimated 500,000 of them quietly moving through the Everglades. They lay on average 20 to 40 eggs a year, with the larger females laying over 100. So when you quietly do the math, it's not a pretty picture. Yet, a deeper, more hopeful perspective quietly emerges. But here's the thing though. Amy emphasizes, it takes a python 3 years to grow to be 10 feet long, and it takes the consumption of approximately 200 animals for it to reach that impressive size, remember? She continues, so every single python that we are quietly, diligently taking out of the ecosystem is absolutely making a difference. It is saving the lives of hundreds of our precious native animals, isn't it? So then one might quietly ponder, is this worth it? Are we simply prolonging the eventual extinction of many of our native animals? Possibly. Amy concedes with a quiet honesty. But there is, as I mentioned earlier, a tremendous amount of research quietly ongoing. So much research happening all across the country, dedicated to trying to understand and unravel this problem, to find a more effective and lasting solution than just manual hunting. She concludes with a profound sense of quiet purpose. So if we can gently prolong that extinction, if we can hold the line until scientists and researchers can truly figure this out, then obviously yes, it is absolutely worth it. It is worth it regardless. But we simply cannot say, okay pythons, you win. We cannot do that. We have to continue to do something, because there's got to be something on the cusp. Some breakthrough, some understanding, where they'll say, we got this, we've got this figured out. Amy then views her work, and the work of all python hunters, as a vital act of holding the line, a quiet, persistent effort to protect the native ecosystem for as long as possible, while new technologies and deeper understandings slowly, gently roll out. And indeed, new developments are quietly unfolding all the time, like gentle ripples expanding across a still pond. One promising technique, being utilized with increasing frequency in the field, is eDNA detection. Imagine, if you will, the subtle whispers left behind by a snake as it moves through its environment. Snakes leave behind traces of their DNA when they quietly shed their skin, when they leave their droppings, or simply as they glide through the water. Using incredibly sensitive laboratory tests, researchers can now detect even the smallest, most minute amounts of python DNA in a collected sample. This method has proven to be a significant breakthrough, a quiet revelation in understanding their hidden presence. It can accurately show where pythons are quietly residing, even in remote places where none have yet been visibly spotted, particularly at the invasion frontier, the very edges of their expanding territory. Scientists have even, with quiet amazement, found python DNA in certain areas years before anyone actually laid eyes on a python there. It is also, remarkably, proving to be much more effective than relying solely on visual searches for these elusive snakes. Another fascinating new technique involves the thoughtful use of what are dramatically nicknamed Judas snakes, though we might more gently call them scout snakes. These are typically male pythons that are carefully captured, fitted with tiny, inconspicuous radio transmitters, and then gently released back into the wild. During the quiet rhythm of the breeding season, male pythons, driven by natural instinct, will naturally seek out female pythons. So scientists cleverly use these scout snakes to lead search teams to hidden groups of other pythons. Once the scout snake finds a mate, or sometimes even several, biologists follow the faint radio signal to its precise location, and then carefully remove all of the pythons they find there. This method is particularly powerful because it can help in the removal of large breeding females, which are critical to the population's expansion. It has even, in its quiet effectiveness, led to the discovery of large breeding clusters, resulting in the removal of hundreds of pythons in a single season. Scientists are also able to gather a wealth of invaluable behavioral data from these radio-tagged snakes, offering deeper insights into their movements and habits. However, it is important to note that both of these innovative methods, eDNA detection and the use of scout snakes, still ultimately rely on manual removal, a quiet physical intervention. So the deeper question softly lingers: is there any hope for something even more powerful, something that could perhaps gently remove these snakes once and for all? There could be, but it remains very much an idea, a whispered possibility, and it is undeniably tricky. It is conceivable that scientists could, in the quiet depths of their laboratories, create a gene drive to help eliminate the pythons. A gene drive is a sophisticated genetic tool that in essence forces a particular trait to spread very quickly through a population. It has been used with considerable success in controlled lab settings, for instance, with mosquitoes, to dramatically reduce their numbers. In theory, scientists could apply a similar, carefully considered strategy to pythons by engineering a specific gene that would either gently render them sterile or cause them to produce predominantly males, thereby, over time, eventually shrinking the population. However, implementing such a gene drive in pythons comes with significant scientific and ethical challenges, demanding a profound level of quiet consideration. Unlike mosquitoes, pythons reproduce slowly, meaning a gene drive would take a much longer, more deliberate time to spread throughout their population. Their genetics and reproductive biology are also not as well understood as those of mosquitoes, making precise gene editing a far more complicated endeavor. Furthermore, the act of releasing genetically modified snakes into the wild could potentially have unforeseen and unintended consequences, ripples spreading far beyond our current understanding. And once a gene drive is introduced into an ecosystem, it is incredibly difficult, if not impossible, to retract or take back. This could pose a significant problem if we are not extraordinarily careful and thoughtful in our approach. A gene drive introduced into the python population could potentially spread to related species, either other native snakes in Florida, or even subtly, to other python populations in their native ranges in Asia. For now, all of this remains purely theoretical, a quiet contemplation of what might be possible. But seeing the profound devastation that the pythons are gently yet pervasively causing in Florida, many, including myself, quietly advocate for conducting the necessary research to determine if this might one day offer a long-term solution. Unfortunately, there will be no quick or easy fix, no sudden snap of the fingers to resolve this complex ecological puzzle, and regrettably, there is also no easy way to consistently find all the pythons, or even to fully understand their ecology in Florida, since it is all so new, so dynamic, and so inherently cryptic. The Everglades holds its secrets close, revealing them slowly, one quiet observation at a time. But if you, dear listener, wish to become proficient in another kind of python, the kind that runs on elegant code and doesn't hide in the dense, whispering swamps, that's where Brilliant comes in, offering a gentle path to understanding and new skills. Brilliant is a remarkable learning app, a quiet companion that helps you become a better thinker and problem solver. It does this through thousands of visual, interactive lessons spanning a vast array of subjects: mathematics, science, programming, data analysis, and artificial intelligence. It is meticulously built to be uniquely effective, fostering a deep understanding. Putting aside our gentle Python jokes for a moment, the critical thinking skills that Brilliant helps you quietly develop through its hands-on problem-solving approach are precisely what are needed to approach, and perhaps one day, solve this complex Python problem in Florida. With Brilliant, instead of passively absorbing information by simply watching lectures, you will gently dive into hands-on problem-solving exercises that encourage you to actively engage with the material. This active learning method has been demonstrably shown to be up to 6 times more effective than traditional passive methods. Brilliant helps you build a real, profound understanding from the very ground up, offering a perfect, quiet balance of challenging problems, motivational features that keep you engaged, and daily progress tracking that allows you to gently observe your own growth. Each course is carefully created by an award-winning team of dedicated educators, scientists and engineers from some of the most esteemed institutions in the world, places like Stanford, MIT, Caltech, Microsoft, and Google, ensuring the highest quality of instruction. Building skills in data analysis and programming can place you at the forefront of problem-solving and conservation efforts, allowing you to contribute in truly meaningful ways. Imagine, for instance, programming the intricate radio tags attached to our scout snakes, ensuring their accurate tracking through the wild, or perhaps analyzing the vast streams of data collected through eDNA detection, quietly revealing the hidden patterns of Python presence, or even modeling to understand and predict the future impact of pythons on the delicate Everglades ecosystem. These are all crucial tasks in the ongoing, quiet fight against this invasive species, and they are all skills that you can gently build and hone with Brilliant. The data courses offered by Brilliant are particularly useful when attempting to understand how to best study wildlife, offering deep insights into the methodologies of ecological research. They cover everything from fundamental basics, like creating clear data visualizations, to advanced topics, such as understanding complex algorithms and building regression models. Regression analysis, for example, can quietly help scientists predict population growth trends or model how various environmental factors, such as subtle shifts in temperature or the gentle rhythm of rainfall, might affect python movement patterns. Classification techniques are incredibly useful for automatically identifying python sightings, for analyzing camera trap footage with greater efficiency, or for meticulously sorting eDNA samples to confirm the presence of specific species. And clustering techniques help to quietly uncover hidden patterns within vast datasets, like identifying hotspots of python activity based on GPS tracking data from scout snakes or community reports from observant citizens. Protecting wildlife dear